You are not a good person. You are a terrified one. Your kindness is a cage built for safety because you fear the judgment of others. Welcome to Atlas Vibes. Here, we do not do cliches. We do psychological warfare and systemic reformatting of your social and mental reality. Today, we deconstruct the greatest lie you have ever told yourself. That being nice is your greatest moral strength. Duke Robinson proves excessive niceness is a defense mechanism. It is a desperate attempt to control how others perceive you. You avoid rejection by becoming what the world wants. This is the slow murder of your identity. There is a difference between kindness and niceness. Kindness is a conscious choice made from a position of personal power. Niceness is a compulsion fueled by fear. It means you lack the teeth to defend your own territory. This is the Fawn response. It is a trauma state where you appease a perceived threat just to survive. You sign a slavery contract every time you say yes while screaming no. You are a distorted version of yourself, shaped by trauma. Let us analyze the 9 self-destructive mistakes. Mistake 1 is trying to be perfect for everyone. Seeking an angel image causes neural exhaustion. It forces you to lie to the world every single day. Mistake 2 is playing the savior. You solve everyone's problems, making them helpless while you become completely drained. This is not altruism. It is a manipulative way to feel indispensable because you fear being unwanted. Mistake 3 is the inability to say no. A person who cannot say no has a yes that is worthless. Without boundaries, your consent is meaningless. You have no scarcity, and scarcity is what creates actual value. Mistake 4 is suppressing anger. You think you are being calm, but that anger never truly disappears. It transforms into biological poison. It manifests as depression and resentment that rots you from the inside out. Then there is the white lie. You pretend to agree with opinions you despise just to keep peace. This is psychological dishonesty. You teach your brain that your truth is less important than someone else's comfort. Mistake 6 is the excessive apology. Apologizing for things you did not do destroys your status in other minds. Every unnecessary sorry is a hammer blow to your authority. It signals you are taking up space you don't deserve. These patterns create the martyr illusion. You burn yourself out for others, expecting a silent reward, but the data shows the opposite. People do not thank the martyr. They walk over the ashes without looking. Your lack of character fangs makes you a target. If you cannot be dangerous, you cannot be truly moral. By avoiding confrontation, you destroy respect. Conflict is a tool for setting your terms. Without that tool, you become a free service source. You have programmed the world to use you without consequence. This is a biological disaster. Your system is constantly flooded with cortisol because you are fawning. You trade your physical health for the fake approval of people who do not care. It is a losing game. Power requires the ability to be disliked. If you are not prepared to be the villain in someone else's story, you will never be the hero of your own. We have analyzed the psychological trap of the Fawn response. Now, we must look at the brutal price tag of your social submission. Your niceness isn't just killing your spirit. It is actively draining your bank account and sabotaging your future. The data confirms this. Research shows that employees who reject the nice guy role earn significantly more than their agreeable counterparts. Those who set hard boundaries and demand their worth see a salary increase of up to 18%. You are being viewed as a low-maintenance asset. Your niceness has become a discount code for your employers to use at their discretion. This is the systematic devaluation of your professional existence. Beyond the bank account, your biology is paying a debt you never signed for. Every time you swallow your feelings, you are injecting poison into your veins. This physiological debt comes from the fawning response. Your body keeps a tally of every bit of anger you refuse to express. This suppressed resentment triggers a massive release of cortisol. This hormone becomes a slow-acting toxin when it remains elevated in your system day after day. High cortisol levels decimate your immune system and harden your arteries. Your attempt to be the good person is literally causing physical damage. You are sacrificing your longevity for the comfort of people who would not even stay for your funeral. This is the ultimate self-betrayal. This is why the martyr illusion is so dangerous. You tell yourself that your suffering is noble and that your sacrifice will eventually be rewarded. In reality, those you help will walk over your ashes without a second glance. Once you have nothing left to give, by your own behavior, you have conditioned them to be entitled to your labor and see you only as a service source. In social dynamics, attraction is built on the foundation of respect, and respect requires boundaries. The person who is always agreeable possesses zero social gravity. If you cannot say no, your yes has no weight. It becomes a hollow sound rather than a conscious decision. You are currently living as a distorted version of your traumas. Stop trading your identity for the shadow of approval. This cycle of submission destroys your charisma. Real influence comes from the power to walk away, a power you surrendered for a false sense of security. Your deadly politeness has turned you into a social ghost. You are present, but your influence is invisible because you refuse to occupy any space. Understand that the people you're trying to please do not value your niceness. They value the convenience you provide, which is a different thing. Once that convenience disappears, their appreciation will evaporate instantly. You will be met with anger because you dared to change the rules of exploitation. You are essentially providing a free subscription to your soul. In the world of psychology, people never value what they get for free. It is time to audit your life and calculate the total loss. Look at the missed promotions, the one-sided friendships, and the deteriorating physical health. This data is the proof you need. Your current operating system is failing. You are not being kind. You are being exploited by your own fear. The savior syndrome you carry is not a badge of honor. It is a chain. It is time to stop being a distorted version of what people expect. We are starting the total reformatting of your social logic. The age of social slavery ends here. To begin this process, you must first accept a harsh reality. Your constant habit of saying, yes, hasn't bought you love. It's only lowered your perceived market value in the social hierarchy. In this new version of your life, we are installing a primary defense protocol called the power of no. Most people mistakenly treat a refusal as an opening for a long negotiation. You've been programmed to offer excuses and justify why you cannot help, but every justification you give is really an apology for your own existence. From this moment on, no is a complete sentence. It requires no explanation, no apology, and no secondary evidence to be valid in any social or professional interaction. When you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim the absolute authority over your time and energy. This is the first essential step in dismantling the savior syndrome that is currently draining your life. Next, we must deploy the law of silence. Most people fear silence because it feels like an empty void they need to fill with useless politeness or immediate compliance to external demands. Use silence as a psychological weapon. When someone attempts to provoke you or push your boundaries, do not react with emotional heat or defensive verbal clutter. Simply look them directly in the eye and remain completely silent. This cold confrontation forces the other person to face the weight and the consequences of their own words and actions. Silence creates a vacuum that the aggressor cannot control. It signals that you are no longer a source of predictable, emotional data for them to manipulate for their own gain. Now, we implement the self-interest first ontology. This is not about becoming a villain. It is about establishing a logic of survival in a highly competitive social and psychological ecosystem. If you are not at peak capacity, you're effectively useless to yourself and the world. You have been depleting your own energy to sustain people who won't return the favor. They will walk over your cold ashes without looking back. Stop the sacrifice. Your interests are the priority, not a secondary consideration to be handled after everyone else is satisfied. Research proves that those who set clear boundaries and prioritize their needs earn significantly more and live longer. Politeness is often just a high cortisol trap for the weak and unassertive. You have been a free service provider for far too long. It is time to become a respected authority through the deliberate use of scarcity and rigid boundary setting. This transformation requires you to shed the white lies of constant agreement. If you disagree with something, state it clearly, or remain silent. Do not pretend to comply for the sake of peace. Pretentious agreement is a form of dishonesty that rots your self-respect. Honesty, even when it's cold and uncomfortable, builds a solid foundation of personal power. Your social value increases instantly when your presence and your labor are no longer guaranteed. Scarcity creates value, while constant availability only breeds contempt and exploitation in others. By choosing exactly when to participate and when to withdraw, you control the narrative of your life. You are no longer a side character in someone else's poorly written play. This is the final stage of your psychological reformatting. The software of the victim has been completely deleted from your mind. The age of being the nice guy is over. You are now operating on a logic of strength, boundaries, and calculated presence. The world will react first with shock, then eventually with the respect you have always deserved. Those who cannot handle your new boundaries were never your allies. They were just the beneficiaries of your previous weakness. Let them fall away as you ascend to your peak. You are now part of the AtlasVibes school of analytical thinking. This is where we deconstruct the lies of social programming and rebuild the truth of human power dynamics. Welcome to your ultimate version. The cage of social slavery is finally open, and for the first time in your life, you are the one holding the key to your freedom. If you are ready to live by these laws, hit the like button to confirm your system update. Join our family by subscribing for more psychological weapons and behavioral literacy. This is AtlasVibes. We do not offer simple entertainment. We offer the specific tools for total psychological reclamation. Until the next session, stay sharp, stay cold, and stay focused.